Hi, Matthew here, and I'm back to talk about the 4 keys to writing a great founder story. And what is a founder story? A founder story for a small business or nonprofit is comic book number 1, the superhero origin story of that brand, that business, that nonprofit. And there are 4 keys to writing a great founder story, and those are, number 1, having an identifiable or relatable character. Number 2, having texture or detail in the story. Number 3, identifying a problem that we're going to solve. And then number 4, having a light bulb moment to solve that problem. Let's get to number 1, having an identifiable or relatable character in the story. Do you have a favorite character from a book or a movie? Do you have a podcast show that you listen to a lot and really like hearing from a particular person on that podcast? Or do you watch a lot of YouTube and have a YouTube personality you particularly like? There's something about them where either it's entertaining or insightful, informative, where we want to hear more from them. We want to see their personality, and we're going to take time out of our day to listen to them, to watch them. And that's going to be a happy moment for us. That's going to be a good moment. Now, I'm not saying in a founder story that we have to make our favorite character from a book or a movie, but I just want to take a little bit of that storytelling magic and put that into the character of a founder story for a small business or nonprofit, and make that character in some way relatable to the audience. So how do we do that? And that brings me to my second point, which is adding texture or detail to the story. Detail, when I refer to that, I mean sensory details. I mean the, sights, smell, taste, hearing, things that will add some relatability to the audience, something they can grasp on, something that's tangible, where they can, yeah, I could picture myself in that story, or, oh yeah, I've been in that situation before. Sometimes people aren't relating maybe to a sensory detail, sometimes they're relating to a state of mind, someone's mental state, or their emotional state. It's their anxiety that they relate to, or what they were passionate about when they started their business. A lot of nonprofits, there's something that people want to impact, and there's a lot of people who will gravitate towards that particular topic and share in that concern or issue. Doing with the texture and detail in the story is we're building depth to the story. We're fleshing it out in a way. And that way, our story is much more tangible, and it's something that people relate to. Now, we don't want to go overboard with this because we don't want to necessarily add too much detail, but just enough to bring the audience in. And that leads me to my third point, which is identify the problem we're going to solve. And every character in a story has a conflict they have to grow through. And that conflict for us in a small business or nonprofit is going to be the problem that brought us to the question of, why did we start the business? And we started the business because of an issue, right? Or something. I'm thinking of my grandmother right now, Florence, who always wanted to start a pie shop, but didn't start a pie shop. And she wanted to solve this problem in her hometown of serving great pies to people, because people loved her pies at bake sales and at church. And my mother has this very fond memory of picking the cherries from well, it's not necessarily fond, actually. It's more like, I worked really hard to pick these cherries from the tree and pitted the cherries, and we canned some of the cherries, but the reward for all that hard work was having the cherry pie at the end that her mother made, or my grandmother made. And so that story, if we could embellish that right, already that's a relatable character, my grandmother. But her problem being that I make great pies. I make the best pies in town. But I don't know, I want to get more pies to more people. How am I going to solve that problem? And that brings us to our fourth point, which is having the light bulb moment to solve the problem. With my grandmother, right, with Florence, it's of course the light bulb moment. The light bulb moment is to have my own business and to bring more pies to more people because everyone loves my pies. My business here, my business is I wanted to combine my love of literature with my content marketing expertise over the last few years. So how would I do that? I would do that by having my new business, MP Storytelling, where I help small businesses and nonprofits show their impact and reach out to audiences through storytelling strategies and storytelling content. I also saw an opportunity because a lot of small businesses and nonprofits aren't able to do the type of storytelling to bring more audiences in. And a lot of national brands, I feel, are doing this. They are doing more storytelling because maybe they have the resources or they feel like they're on the cutting edge of something. They're using some next level type of marketing, right? But I want to bring whatever that next level type of marketing, whatever that is, right to you here. And that's what my business is focused on. I'm going to share my own origin story with you today. And I'm going to be reading from my script here because I have not memorized my origin story. But I think this really speaks to some of my inspirations growing up and how I've come to this business so far. So here goes. I gravitated toward TV shows and picture books as a little kid. I loved Power Rangers. Picture books by Chris Van Allsburg like The Polar Express and Jumanji. I loved watching superhero Saturday morning cartoons like X-Men and Spider-Man. I fell in love with reading when my second grade teacher read The Wizard of Oz out loud. A fantasy world was something I hadn't encountered. I read sequels to the Oz book and then moved to other old school young adult books. Harriet the Spy, The Enormous Egg, Ralph Mouse books by Beverly Cleary. A love for stories and wanting to write them myself led me to an MFA in Writing and Poetics at the Jack Kerouac School in Boulder, Colorado. After, I went and got my English PhD at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I continued to immerse myself in how stories create and comment on the cultural, social, and political beliefs of communities and nations. I understood how powerful stories resonate, bring people together, change them, and encourage others to create change in themselves. For a long time, I had wanted to use my expertise in storytelling to help people, but didn't know how. That was until fall 2023, last year, when I had the idea to combine my love of storytelling from literature with my few years of content marketing expertise. I could help nonprofits and small businesses tell stories through their communication and marketing to make genuine connections with their audience. At MP Storytelling, I help small business owners and nonprofits build great stories that make an impact by sharing the passion behind their work. There you have it, my origin story and my 4 keys to writing a great founder story, which summarize are having an identifiable or relatable character, having texture or detail in the story, 3, identifying the problem we're going to solve, and number 4, having a light bulb moment to solve that problem. Thank you so much for watching. I know I probably rambled a little bit in the middle there, but please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you're interested in working with me, please visit my website. Thanks for watching, everyone.